is the easiest way to achieve this is to be registered as a Democrat. For MPP voters, no party preference voters, the only way you can cast a vote for Bernie Sanders is by, there we go. The MPP voters, MPP voters can only vote for Bernie Sanders by filling out a crossover ballot. Do not wait. The deadline is February 25th. You can fill out a form over there in the back corner with our staff. Mi nombre es Iván, soy organizador aquí en la área de la Bahía y me uní a esta campaña porque quería pelear por justicia económica de parte de mi familia. La mejor manera de votar por Bernie Sanders es registrarse como demócrata. La gente que está registrada como MPP, ¿no se oye así? ¿Así se oye bien? ¿Se oye? La mejor manera de votar por Bernie Sanders es registrarse como demócrata. La gente que está registrada como MPP o sin partido debe pedir una boleta cruzada. Puede ir allá a la esquina y alguien del personal le va a poder ayudar. ¿Están listos para ganar California en grande? Are you ready to win big in California? The only way we can win is by mobilizing millions of people all around the country. We need your help. After this rally, we'll be conducting a canvassing out of the Richmond Progressive Alliance. There will be carpools. Who's ready to knock on some doors? Si queremos que Bernie gane, necesitamos movilizar millones de gente alrededor de todo el mundo, de todo el país. Si quiere ayudar y unirse a la campaña, vamos a tener viajes compartidos hacia la Alianza Progresista de Richmond. ¿Quién está listo para tocar en unas puertas? Together we'll win California. Juntos ganaremos California. ¡Sí se puede!
And I've been a registered nurse for over 40 years, and I currently work in a neonatal, thank you. I work in a neonatal ICU. I'm a proud member of the California Nurses Association, and I'm a vice president of the National Nurses United, the largest union of registered nurses in the United States. Yeah. National Nurses has the slogan, vote nurses' values, and there is no candidate better embodies nurse values than Senator Bernie Sanders. Yeah. To explain why, I want to ask, how many people here today know someone who has suffered because they could not afford health care? Show of hands. Yes, absolutely. Every day, nurses see our patients suffer and even die because they cannot afford preventative care and because their care is denied by their insurance company. That is why, for decades, the nurses have been leading the grassroots movement to win health care as a human right and Medicare for all. Yeah. And do you know who's been with us all along the way? Bernie Sanders. Absolutely, yes. Bernie has shown us time and time again that he shares our determination to make sure that health care is a basic human right. Over 30 million people currently have no health insurance whatsoever, and 44 additional people are underinsured. That means co-pays and deductibles are so high that they cannot even seek the care that they need. There are huge disparities in health care based on race in this country, and we absolutely need Medicare for all so that every person, no matter what their race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation gets them the health care that they deserve. Yeah. And the candidate that fights the hardest for Medicare for all is who? Bernie. Yeah. Nurses support Bernie because his platform addresses the social determinants of our patients' health. Here in the Bay Area, we know what wealth inequality looks like. It looks like 100,000 housing units sitting vacant in the Bay Area while thousands are forced to live on the streets. That's right. It looks like real estate development country stealing houses from Black communities during the subprime mortgage crisis. Yes. Yeah. Kicking mothers and children out when they actually could live in a vacant house. Bernie is fighting for housing for all, for economic justice, and a $15 minimum wage. Yeah, absolutely. He is fighting for workplace justice, rebuilding the labor movement, and restoring workers' right to organize unions. And as union nurses, we know the importance of standing together to advocate for safe patient care. Bernie is fighting for structural racism that is literally killing our patients, whether it's through shootings and excessive force perpetrated by law enforcement against Black, brown, and Native people, or through social economic conditions and racial biases that lead to the deadly health disparities that I mentioned, like our country's shocking infant and maternal mortality rate among our African American babies and mothers. Ooh, is right. We need to have that change. Nurses also back Bernie because, like us, he knows our planet is at a crossroads. The health and the survival of all living beings is at stake. Nurses witness the crisis as it impacts our patients and our communities. Here in Richmond, that includes trying to keep residents safe from the Chevron refinery with its toxic smoke and greenhouse gases that emits fuel to cause the climate crisis. We nurses share Bernie's comprehensive vision for a Green New Deal, and we know he will be a powerful champion and ally in making this vision a reality. Bernie not only is naming and tackling these issues head-on, and he has outlined a comprehensive platform to win justice in all areas of life. And when Bernie is president, nurses and all working people will have a powerful ally in the White House. A healthier, more world is possible, but only if we build the people power to fight for this. Nurses know it's time to elect Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States. Let's make it happen. Can we do this? All right, let's do this. Thank you.
I'm the president and founder of the New Bread Foundation that's based in Oakland, California. I'm a Chinese American. I want to invite all of you to take in a couple of deep breaths with me. Because the breath that we're inhaling sustains our lives. Let's take a couple of deep breaths together. That's right. Let's take a Bernie breath. How's that? You know, at the age of 12, I immigrated to Oakland, California, because my grandfather, L.K. Chow, believed that me and my family would have a better educational and career opportunity in the United States. Now, many immigrants who came to this country, we believe in the American dream. After all, this country is a nation built on the strength of immigrants. But unfortunately, as a young new immigrant, I've encountered many challenges. My parents were working day and night, which means that I didn't get to see them much. I became a chronic truant. Then because I had a hard time understanding English, and I couldn't find a sense of belonging. I fell in with the other immigrant kids in the same situation as I was in. I did not appreciate the sacrifices my parents were making to ensure their children have a better life. And I did not appreciate the freedom that I had. I ended up making some poor choices and led me to commit a crime against other family. At age 16, I was charged as an adult and sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole. During my incarceration, education, specifically ethnic studies, saved my life. I fought for ethnic studies curriculum in San Quentin State Prison and then was thrown into solitary confinement for 11 months with two of my other friends because of our advocacy. But despite the challenges, I was able to get my GED, Associate of Arts degree, and I was able to find my path to rehabilitation with the support of my family and my community. Asian American and Pacific Islander are not model minorities. Many of our diverse communities encounter challenges of discrimination, poverty, violence, mental health, incarceration, deportation, education disparity, and gender-based injustices. As we have witnessed with the current administration's atrocious policy of public charge and deportation of Southeast Asian refugees, we need a champion in the White House who will stop those violations of human rights. Well, after being incarcerated for 21 years, I was ordered to be deported because I was not a US citizen. But my community fought for me. I was able to win my case in the court and set a precedent in the Ninth Circuit. The panel of 3 judges ruled that the immigration court must accept my contribution to society before a deportation order. Many others have benefited from this ruling since. Well, I received an unconditional pardon from Governor Brown in 2015. And I became a citizen of the United States in January 2017. This is my first time voting in a presidential election. And I'm casting my vote for the only choice, which is Senator Bernie Sanders. 大家好，我的名字叫郑小飞，这是我第一次在总统选举中投票。我投的唯一的选择就是参议员伯尼·桑德斯。This is not just a presidential election. It is a movement for fight for true equity and fight for our democracy. This is the people's movement for systemic change. Senator Bernie Sanders has committed throughout his entire career his commitment to fight for all of us and not some of us. Senator Sanders is the most qualified and compassionate leader and has the most comprehensive agenda to create racial inclusion and equity for all people. I trust him. He is fighting for the American dream. This is the America that my family dreamed of. I believe that we can win. 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 Thank you, Bay Area. Let's make history together.
Better than ever, cause your umbrella. Sun is beaming on me like headlights beaming on Bambi. Now let's pretend the street is a room and you are a Camry. Cause you drama candid, the Tito to my Randy. Now let's produce some thrillers, my chocolate with your vanilla,
The sun will come out, nothing good ever comes easy. I know times are rough, but winners don't quit, so don't you give up. The sun will come out, but we've been struggling endlessly. Someday we'll find the love, 'cause after the storm, I know it's hard. Did you even really try? Maybe you could understand when all you had to do was ask and just open your mind when everything is passing by. And all you had to do was try. Yeah, all you had to do was try. All you had to do was try.
Woo, oh my lords. Bay Area. Happy Black Solidarity Week, Oakland, and happy Black History Month, everybody. This is an amazing crowd, and I don't know if you all have heard the story about this group of mothers in Oakland, but I want to tell you a little bit. Okay, so y'all know. On November 18th, in Oakland, California, a small group of unhoused mothers came together to reclaim a vacant house that was being held by a speculator named Wedgwood Inc. That part. Wedgwood is notorious for coming into Black and brown neighborhoods and flipping homes and then putting them out of reach for these same working class communities. What y'all think about that? But this unlikely group of women who chose to stand up to the status quo, to stand up to big real estate, who chose to stand up to the big banks, said enough is enough. So these moms, better known as Moms for Housing, along with a dedicated, supportive network of organizers, community members, and people who just care about the housing crisis in Oakland, came together, and in minutes, when they were told that the sheriffs were coming, over 400 people showed up to defend Mom's house. And the goal of this whole organizing activity was to do one thing, and that is to declare that housing is a human right. That is something that we believe, and that is something that we fight for. But the unfortunate reality is, it is not a human right in this country. It is not a human right in this state. We need more homes. We do need more homes. And so the reality is that every single night in this country, there are millions of people living on our streets. California is seeing the worst housing crisis in its history, and it's only getting worse. And in Oakland, some of our legislators said that there's no end in sight. I disagree. But right now, the current phenomenon that we do know about is that there is no city in the United States of America where a person that is working full-time but earns minimum wage can afford a 2-bedroom home. Nowhere. Nowhere in this country. And single mothers with children are the largest demographic of people that are living on the streets in this country today. Shame. We must and we have to do better. And in December of last year, the judge issued, after deliberating for several days, they issued what judges do? What do judges do? It was wrong, but they did it because the law is not in the favor of tenants. So they ruled against the mothers and issued an eviction notice. And so I know, yeah, we need more protections for unsheltered folks. But they issued this eviction notice, and shortly thereafter, 4 days after, the Alameda County Sheriffs came. Have y'all seen that? Did you see how they came? They came with tanks. They came with AR-15 assault rifles. They came with drones. They came with helicopters. They came with all of this military force with SWAT gear. They came to evict 3 mothers and their children. So in the pre-dawn hours, the sheriffs came like this was a terrorist attack to evict mothers and children. And it shows you the lengths that this country and our law enforcement will go to police Black bodies. And we're saying enough. But y'all need to know, though, that after this 2-month saga, this 2-month fight, people power prevailed. So Wedgwood went from calling these mothers thugs to calling them heroes. And you know what else happened? They agreed to do the one demand that the moms had, which is to negotiate with the land trust to sell the home back to the community. So if Wedgwood holds to their word, this house will be permanently affordable in community control for generations to come. That is a victory. So this movement that the mothers launched to say that housing is a human right is something that we need to be concretized into law, not just in the state of California, but throughout the country. And just a random question, y'all know somebody who might support this idea that housing is a human right? Yep. I think that's why we're here, because it is Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders has vowed to end homelessness in America. Senator Sanders has vowed to decommodify housing, to combat gentrification, to end segregation in housing, and to end speculation. And what's most important specifically to these moms is that he has vowed to invest in community land trust, the same kind of institution that is helping the mothers purchase this home right now. So Bernie Sanders has a comprehensive housing plan better than anybody else. And he also has a long history that's dedicated and committed to building people-powered movements to make our vision reality. So if he's doing that, and you all are here because you already believe, but what are you going to do to bring him over the finish line on March 3rd? What are you going to commit? Because I'm going to tell you this, the mothers put their bodies on the line to make housing justice real for us all. So what are you going to do to bring this home on March 3rd? What are you going to do today? Because I'm going to tell you one more thing before I leave. It is our duty in this time right now to seize the time. It is our duty to take the fierce urgency of now and rise up and get everybody that we know to the polls, because this is a special time in our existence right now. It is a special time. And if we do not seize it, then shame on us. Shame on us. So before you leave today, I need you to pull out your cell phone and don't get 5 people that you already know support Bernie, but get people that you don't know. Go and talk to them. Go and speak to them about the need and the necessity of the times that we're living in right now. We will not get another chance. We will not. So seize the time. Get people to go phone bank, come out with us in Canvas, go and knock on some doors, and do whatever you can to take advantage of the period that we're living in. Because if we lose, I'm not even going to talk about, because we're winning. We're winning. So in the sage words of Terha Ak, I will have to say that when we stand together, we can stand the weather. And when we fight together, we can win whatever. Thank you.
Hello, Bay Area! My name is KALRA, and I'm proud to represent you in the California State Legislature as an Assembly member from San Jose. And I am proud to endorse Bernie Sanders for president. Here in the Bay Area, we are experiencing the worst income divide in the nation. In the shadow of the wealthiest companies and individuals on earth, thousands are sleeping in the streets. Young families are struggling to keep a roof over their head. College grads are saddled with crushing debt, and seniors are rationing their health care to survive. We are in a period of moral crisis, and it is a crisis that existed before the current president was elected. So, let's be clear. The billionaires are the cause and not the solution to the moral crisis we have created. must make it clear once and for all to all the billionaires that our democracy does not belong to them. Our democracy belongs to we, the people. This is why we must work as hard as possible to elect Bernie Sanders as the next president of the United States. Because we don't believe in college for some, we believe in college for all. We don't believe in living wage jobs for some, we believe in living wage jobs for all. We don't believe in housing for some, we believe in housing for all. And we don't believe in Medicare for some, we believe in Medicare for all. So the question remains, are you willing to fight for your community? Are you willing to fight for California? Are you willing to fight for someone you don't know? Are you prepared to work as hard as you possibly can for the next 15 days to make sure that we win California for Bernie Sanders? Well, thanks to all of you and thousands like you around this state, we will win California, and we will build a just and loving movement inside the White House and for our nation and for the world. Now, we are all in this movement together. Being here is a beautiful, not me, us moment. But this campaign is not about a moment, it is about a movement. And we are so fortunate to have with us today extraordinary elected officials who are in this movement with us. So as you see, but if you can't see behind me, there's so many people in here, but those that can see behind me, we have with us Oakland City Council member Nikki Fortunato Bass. Oakland City Council member Sheng Chao. Berkeley Mayor Jesse Aregin. Berkeley City Council member Cheryl Davila. Berkeley City Auditor Jenny Wong. Richmond City Council member Melvin Willis. Richmond City Council member Eduardo Martinez. Former Richmond City Council member Jovanka Beckles. Of course, not on the stage, but in the crowd with all of you is former Mayor of Richmond, Gail McLaughlin. On the Vallejo Board of Education, Rusko Kayanyang. Our new District Attorney of San Francisco, Chase Boudin. That one deserved a little extra love. I get it. President of the San Francisco Board of Education, Mark Sanchez. Vice President of the San Francisco Board of Education, Gabriela Lopez. San Francisco Supervisor Hillary Ronen. The Vice Mayor of Daly City, Jocelyn Manalo. Foster City Council Member Sam Hindi. El Cerrito City Council Member Rochelle Pardu Okimoto. Alameda City Council Member Malia Bella. And finally, Hayward City Council Member Aisha Wahab. Let's give it up to these amazing elected officials who are part of the Not Me Us movement.
It's not the waking, it's the rising. It is the grounding of a foot uncompromising. It's not forgoing of the lies, it's not the opening of eyes. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the shade we should be casting. It's the light and it's the obstacle that casts it. It's the heat that drives the light. It's the fire it ignites. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the song, it is the singing. It's the heaven of the human spirit ringing. It is the bringing of the light.
Test. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Danny Glover.
Whoa! Yeah! I mean, look at them. Look here, Richmond. Look here, Oakland. Look here, San Francisco. Look here. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. We're here because we're on the right side of history. We're here because we're going to build a movement that's going to translate this and redo this system, transform this system. We're here because of that. We here know that there's one person, not just simply one person, but one person who's able to articulate our needs, who's able to articulate what we need, who's able to talk to us, to be with us, to work with us, to transform this country. We know that. We're here because of that. We're here because of that. You know, whether you're hospital workers, whether you're medical students, whether you're doctors, whether you're longshoremen, whatever work you do, you know that we need to do, we all know what we need to do. We all know what we have to fight for. And it's not me, it is us, and not me, this is us. This movement is about transforming this country. This movement is about love. This movement is about courage. This movement is about us, and that's where we are. And to work with us day in, once he's here, at this moment as he campaigns, but once he gets in the White House, he's going to work with us to do the work, to do our work. Let me introduce you to Senator Bernie Sanders, Senator. Bernie.
Thank you. Whoa. Unbelievable. To all of you who are outside, to all of you who are inside, thank you so much for coming out today. And before I go further, let me introduce to you the next First Lady of our country, Jane Sanders. And let me thank all of those who helped organize the event, those who have spoken, and I want to say a special word of thanks. I want to say he disappeared, but I want to say a special word of thanks to Danny Glover. As all of you know, Danny is not just a great actor. Danny has been a social activist for his entire adult life. Danny, thank you all very much for what you do. Now, our campaign is about two fundamental issues. Number one, we are going to defeat Donald Trump, the most dangerous president in the history of this country. We are going to defeat Donald Trump because the American people do not want a president who is a pathological liar. We are going to defeat Donald Trump because the American people know that he is running a corrupt administration, that he is undermining American democracy, that not only is he a liar, he is a fraud. You know, this is a candidate who told the American people
that he believed in health care for all and then try to throw 32 million people off the health care they had. This is a president who said, I will not cut Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, and in his budget, he did exactly what he said he would not do. This is a president who said, my tax proposal is not going to benefit the wealthy, but 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. Now, we are going to defeat Trump because our campaign is doing something that has never been done in modern American history. We are putting together the strongest grassroots movement. Multi-generational, multiracial. Trump is trying to divide our people up. We're bringing our people together. Black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, we stand together. For an agenda and a government that represent all of us, not just the 1%. The American people are sick and tired of massive levels of income and wealth inequality. They are tired of 3 people owning more wealth than the bottom half of America. They are tired of tax breaks for billionaires when 500,000 Americans are sleeping out on the streets. They're tired of working 2 or 3 jobs, and 49% of all new income goes to the top 1%. So today we say to Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies and the fossil fuel industry, today we say to the military-industrial complex and their endless wars, today we say to the prison industrial complex, today we say to the entire 1% that we're going to create a government that represents working people, not just wealthy campaign contributors. But it is not only a rigged economy, it is a corrupt political system. It is a system that allows billionaires like Trump to get massive amounts of campaign contributions from his billionaire friends. It is a system that allows a multi-billionaire, Mike Bloomberg, worth $60 billion. Now, Mr. Bloomberg, like anybody else, has a right to run for president. He does not have a right to buy the presidency. Especially after being mayor of New York and having a racist stop and frisk policy. Especially after opposing, imagine a multi-billionaire opposing a raise in the minimum wage. Imagine a multi-billionaire asking for cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The American people are tired of billionaires buying elections. That's why we are going to overturn Citizens United. And that is why we're going to move to public funding of elections. Now, Mr. Bloomberg and others can go to billionaires for their fundraising, but I am proud, and everybody here should be enormously proud, that our campaign together has raised more campaign contributions from more Americans, averaging $18.50. More contributions than any candidate in the history of the United States of America at this point in an election. As somebody who grew up in a family that lived in a rent-controlled apartment, that lived paycheck to paycheck, I am proud that we are a campaign of the working class, by the working class, and for the working class. Now, the corporate elite, all you got to do is turn on the TV. Corporate elite, Wall Street, and the drug companies getting very nervous. And they should get nervous. Trump and the Republican Party are getting nervous. And they should get nervous. And the Democratic establishment is getting nervous, and they should get nervous. And I hear the establishment saying, oh, Bernie can't win the election. Take a look at this crowd today and tell me we can't win the election. So what this campaign is about, it's obviously about beating Donald Trump, but it is more than that, brothers and sisters. It is more than that. It is about transforming our government and our economy. It is about ending the absurdity of millions of workers in this country earning starvation wages. We're going to raise that federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. We believe in equal pay for equal work. And brothers and sisters, we're going to make it easier, not harder, for workers to join unions. And we're going to put millions of working people to work at good-paying jobs, building 10 million units of low-income and affordable housing. It is a moral obscenity that in our country tonight, 500,000 people will sleep out on the streets. Together, we end that obscenity. Our country believes in young people. We believe in education. In the richest country in the history of the world, we must move to universal, high-quality, affordable child care. In the richest country in the world, No, we're not going to invest in charter schools. We're going to invest in public education. Tripling funding for low-income Title I schools. I want all kids in this country, regardless of their zip code, to get the quality education they need to succeed in life. And because we believe in education, we believe in educators, our teachers. And we are going to fight to make sure that every teacher in America earns at least $60,000 a year. We are going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. You know, 12 years ago, against my vote, the Congress voted to bail out the crooks on Wall Street. 2 years ago, Trump and his friends, against my vote, gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the 1% and large corporations. Well, if Congress can bail out the crooks on Wall Street and give tax breaks to billionaires, we can cancel all student debt in this country. And I'll tell you what else. I'll tell you what else we're going to do. Something that is on the minds of people from Vermont to California. And that we are going to end the international disgrace of being the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. And I want to thank the National Nurses Union and all of the other unions out there who know that health care is a human right, not a privilege. We are going to take on the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry. We are not going to pay 10 times more for the same exact prescription drugs as they do in Canada or in Europe. On the Medicare for all, people go to any doctor they want, they go to any hospital they want. We're going to expand Medicare to cover dental care, to cover eyeglasses, hearing aids, and home health care as well. No more premiums, no more deductibles, no more co-payments, no more out-of-pocket expenses. A recent study from Yale University just indicated that we save over $300 billion a year by moving to Medicare for all. We're going to end the absurdity of Americans paying twice as much as the people of any other country, while we have 87 million uninsured or underinsured, 30,000 dying, and 500,000 people going bankrupt because of medically related bills. So today we say to the drug companies and the insurance companies, the function of a rational healthcare system is quality care for all, not huge profits for the drug companies. Now, Donald Trump, he thinks that climate change is a hoax. Well, I think Donald Trump is a hoax. And under our administration, we're going to listen to scientists, not right-wing extremists. I am proud to tell you that we have introduced the most comprehensive and bold climate change proposal ever introduced by any federal candidate. Based on the principles of the Green New Deal. We are going to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. And when we do that, we're going to create up to 20 million good-paying union jobs. And not only are we going to transform our own energy system, but we understand that climate change is a global problem. It's not just an American issue. And my job as president will be to speak to the people in China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Brazil, countries all over the world, and make it clear that instead of spending $1.8 trillion every year on weapons of destruction designed to kill each other, maybe we should pool our resources, fight our common enemy, which is climate change. And when we talk, and when we show the world that we have the guts to tackle difficult problems, together we are going to bring fundamental reform to a broken and racist criminal justice system. This is America. We must not continue having more people in jail than any other country on earth. Together, we are going to invest in our young people, in jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. Today, 400,000 people right now are in jail not having been convicted of anything. They cannot afford bail. Together, we will end cash bail in America. Together, we will end private prisons and detention centers. Together, we will end the destructive war on drugs and legalize marijuana in every state in this country. And together, we will expunge the records of those arrested for the sale of marijuana. And when we talk about broken and racist systems, we are going to bring about comprehensive immigration reform in this country. No more demonization of the undocumented. We, on day one, through executive order, will repeal all of Trump's racist immigration executive orders. On day one, we will restore the legal status of 1.8 million young people and their parents eligible for the DACA program. On day one, we will begin the process of ending our current border policy. We, under our administration, will not have federal agents snatching babies from the arms of their mothers. We will not be throwing children into jails. We will not tolerate ICE raids, which are terrorizing communities all over America. Trump wants to divide us up. We're going to bring our people together, black and white and Latino. All of us are horrified by the level of gun violence we see in America. Now, I'm proud to have a D- voting record from the NRA. As president, I'll do better. I'm looking forward to an F rating. Because under our administration, it will be the American people who determine gun policy, not the NRA. And that means universal background checks, ending the gun show loophole, ending the straw man provision, and ending the sale and distribution of assault weapons in this country. Now, as a United States Senator, I hear a lot of speeches from my conservative Republican colleagues on the floor. And their mantra, as you know, their mantra is they believe in small government and getting the government off the backs of the American people. That's what they say. Well, I say to those hypocrites, if you believe in getting the government off the backs of the American people, understand that it is women who have a right to control their own bodies, not the government. So my promise to you is that I will never nominate anyone to the Supreme Court or the federal bench who is not 100% pro Roe v. Wade. We will codify Roe v. Wade and put it into law. And we will substantially increase funding for Planned Parenthood. Women, not the government, should be controlling their own lives. Brothers and sisters, this is the most consequential election in the modern history of our country. And on Super Tuesday, California is voting. And I don't have to tell any of you, I think you all know, you are the largest state in this country. You have the most delegates to the Democratic National Convention. And the candidate who wins here in California stands a pretty good chance to win the nomination. So today I'm here to ask you to vote early, to bring your aunts and uncles and grandparents and friends and co-workers out. But let me say this, here in California, every state has its own thing with regard to elections. And here in California, we have a situation where no party preference voters, NPPs, now make up the second largest political affiliation in the state behind Democrats. And here is the point. There are almost 5.5 million NPPs in California. Please, if you are an NPP, a no party preferential, please make sure to check your voter registration today. And if it says you are an NPP, meaning your voter registration does not say Democrat, and you want to vote for us, please change your registration to Democrat. In other words, you may get a ballot and no presidential candidates' names will be on that ballot. Your vote will not count. So please do everything you can and get a Democratic ballot so that we can win here in California. Also, let me conclude by saying this. This is an unprecedented moment in American history. We, in our campaign, are not just taking on Trump and the Republicans, not just taking on the Democratic establishment. We're taking on Wall Street. We're taking on the drug companies, the insurance companies, all of these guys. And the message of our campaign, we said it over and over again, is us, not me. And what that means, it means two fundamental things, pretty important things. Number one, it means that we understand that as human beings, we're in it together. Every family in America has its problems, every family. And what us, not me, is about is that my family has got to care about your family has got to care about my family. We're in it together. And the second thing that it means is that if you study American history, you know that real fundamental change never takes place from the top on down, always the bottom on up. That is the history of the labor movement in America. That is the history of the civil rights movement in America. That is the history of the women's movement in America. That is the history of the gay rights movement in America. And that's the history of the environmental movement all over the country right now. All over the world right now. You've got groups like the Sunrise Movement. All over the world, young people are saying, we want a planet where our kids will grow up in a healthy and habitable environment. And what we understand is to take on the economic establishment, these enormously powerful people who have endless amounts of money, Wall Street, the drug companies, the insurance companies. We understand that no president, not Bernie Sanders or anybody else, can do it alone. We need a mass political movement. And what the establishment is trembling about right now, they're crying on television. What they are trembling and fearful of is that working people are standing up demanding decent wages. That all over this country, people are saying health care is a right, not a privilege. That young people want a higher education without going deeply into debt. That all over the world, people are demanding a planet that is healthy and habitable and taking on the fossil fuel industry. So we are in this together because at the end of the day, and I say this as a U.S. Senator who knows something about this, at the end of the day, the 1% is enormously powerful. They own the media. Wall Street and all of these other entities, enormously powerful. They have endless amounts of money. But at the end of the day, the 1% is 1%. And if we do not allow Trump and his friends to divide us up based on the color of our skin or where we were born or our sexual orientation or our religion, if we stand together, for an agenda that works for all, there is nothing that will stop us, will defeat Trump, will transform this country. Thank you all very much.